There we go. Sorry about the delay, everybody. Had a bit of a delayed dinner, but we are here now, and we will be looking at and working on our Kerbal interplanetary space station. Now, I do have something preset for going up there, and I don't know if I'm going to be doing that first or if I'm going to be sending up the science modules. What I do need to do, though, is I need to go back into the place I'm at right now, is I need to check and switch over to the K.I.S.S station to, come on, is to check to see, I do believe I should have a small adapter. And that adapter is going to be used for a, yep, I have two, good. This adapter, either this one or that one, will be used for a, let me turn the lights on everything. Remind me, let me check my depletion rate. I want to be looking at kind of just doing this. This is one of the easiest ways for me to make sure that when I come around, I'm going to have power for lighting and things like that. So, my support. Huh. Life support, cool. Cool. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know what that does, but I would have to hazard a guess that by having these on, it reduces the risk to my people. Go back to Space Center, and we will build a scientific module to attach. Now, thankfully, we have a boatload of rockets that work really well for this. And what we're going to do is we are going to make a very small attachment unit. But the thing I want to make sure I check first and foremost is, where is our docking ports? That is the senior docking port. And that is a 1.2. So what we want is a 1.2. I don't think I have, yeah, I don't think I have a 1.2 that is designed for actually handling much of anything. Orbital assist. Work. Yeah, why not? Want to do is we want to be very careful about how we go about doing this, because we want to set up a few like connecting parts, and we need to make sure that they are behaving well. Now we need to go to mono propellant. And realize we literally are right between the two sizes, so we might have to actually intentionally step up the size. The problem I have with that, we're using roughly the same amount of charge. RCS fuel tanks are fine. Want to make sure this has a nice controller antenna. And then we want to make sure that we have power. Because this is the kind of thing that is going to very quickly get out of hand. So, by doing that, we've given the whole thing a nice little boost. The next thing we want to do is see if there's a payload center I can set up on it. The reason we want a payload center on it, which I don't think I'm going to get away with, because even if I do this, while that is the right size, I'm going to need to work on building specialized attachments for it. So, need to do is, I guess we could do structural. And what we'd want to do, instead of doing an adapter, maybe do something in this neighborhood. That's an engine mount. Pressurized cargo module? So, or water, hydrogen, oxygen. That's useful. And we will look into it. Give me a moment. And let's see what we can use for this. Airlocks are cool, but I'm not needing it right this instant. Let's see what we can find. Well, since this is staying up here, I think what I'm gonna do is come here. I really only need the one, so I will tuck that up under there. And then we're gonna come here and do some RCS controls. Okay. And now when we go to structural, we can actually get the adapter to adapt these down to the size we want to work with, which is, I believe, this. So this is our little command and control pod. By mod Mark 1. Now, next thing we want to do is build our little scientific control module. Now, the way we're going to do this is actually kind of simple. So, service bays have these things where you can basically see through them, and they can open up and do all this, yada yada yada. Well, we also know that there are scientific experiments that are done at specific sizes. Now, looking at this has a crew capacity. I'm not really a fan of that, so we can't really use that. Mystery Goo Lab also has a crew capacity, so we're actually trying to avoid that. And the reason we are trying to avoid the crew capacity is because these need to be transferable between multiple systems. In the event that I decide to move part of the station from one orbit to another or something of that, being able to grab the individual modules, pull them off, either move them to a new home or move them to a individualized segmented area. Those are all important things that need to be available. And here's the silly / fun part. I am going to be putting parts inside here. And we're going to do it by having stuff like this. So it's just going to be little like bearings basically. But by doing this way, it gives us something to stack the science onto. the one thing we want to make sure we are checking, make sure that none of this is specific to, like, surface scans or things of that nature. That is a gigantic telescope. Like, that could be really funny to have inside, but I don't know if that'll actually work. This, however, I can put there. That's because it is the right height. Now, we want to come up here, grab our normal everyday science modules, the stuff that we are anticipated to have. We are gonna tuck them inside. Now, do I have to make them like have to have them not clipping? No, I could have them clip into everything. But I'm trying not to go too crazy with the messed up physics. Dust collector. So, yes, this is silly. Yes, it is, like, unrealistic for what it actually is and what it entails, but if I were building an actual space station and I was doing something like this, I would actually custom make every single scientific piece of equipment to fit in this so that it is not just there. It is specially designed, it's all tucked into one, you know. And again, I'm being a little crass with this by just tossing stuff in here. I'm sure there are parts of this that would benefit greatly from me not doing it, but the biggest issue I have is there is a lot of stuff in here that just, I don't know what the instruments do. I don't know how it behaves, and it doesn't really feel like something that it's going to go out of its way to show me. So it's going to be, oh, this is just science. It's not, like, it's unfortunate, but it's not going to make it easy to do. Or, you know, easy to piece out. It does mean that there is the massive, massive opportunity for me to forget something that later on it'll ask for it in a mission. And that is why I'm doing it in the way I'm doing. Because if there is a piece of scientific kit that is missing, that will end up in the module Mark IIs. Because I'll either duplicate this and add the extra stuff, or I will make it an expansion piece. Something that I can expand on and add to the units that I'm working with. Now, I will add this to collect the data, and that's going to be very, very useful. Now, the resource scanner and the scanners are great, but at that point, we are looking at stuff that is requires specific orbital inclinations, and when you're doing that, you're then moving the station. Now, that is fine if that is what I want it to do, but for now, it is not. The station's main objective is to just exist. It will get specialized parts going forward. There will be times when I add like an entire segment to it that is just scanning, and then I can intentionally go out of my way to build a proper... Hey, Maverick. I'm talking through the little science module I'm building to attach to the K.I.S.S station. This should be relatively good on its own. Be able to add a coupling. Oh, trust me, I may have designed a module off stream that you are going to get a kick out of. Go. Let's see. I believe it was under science. The lab that I specifically selected was the mobile processing lab. Yes. I do realize I have to add more processing labs to it to make it more efficient. But for right now, I have not, you know... I have not used it in a very long time, but I did do a quick once-over on like a catch-up stream I have set up, and basically was given the rundown on what I've missed and what has changed since I've last used it. If I'm not mistaken, if I come down here to my little Terrier engine, yeah, it's still one of the best ones. That's because R&D. So the science part itself does not have a RCS attachment, but because I'm gonna have two of them, technically I'm having three by having another one of these. The control shuttles that are on the ends of it do have RCS and control systems, so it can move, it can be refueled, it can be a lot of things. I'm making everything kind of individualized modules, that way if I need to mix and match or rebuild it for a specific mission, I can. Or if I need to like undock a component of it, shuttle it out to a specific orbit to do certain research, and then bring it back, I can. Because I want the whole thing to be modular. And that way, you know, if I find all the science or whatever I find around Kerbin and I'm done, I can just pack it all up and take it to the moon and set it up there. How heavy is this? This shouldn't be that heavy. It's 26 tons. In theory, I can get away with the light lifter. here. That part off, take that part off. That, bring this down. So, space stations are an interesting bunch, to put it bluntly. The reason for that is when you don't know what you're doing, they can be very difficult. When you do know what you're doing, it can be very expensive. But it's way more Delta V than I'll ever need for this, but sure. It's really coming down to what do you want it to do? It's one of the reasons why I'm building my station as a modular bit that is going to be like multiple interconnected pieces launched up at different times and in different manners. Come here and say the K.I.S.S space station, set to target. And it's really funny because I didn't remove the fuel from this, because even though this is probably a relatively expensive craft, it's not expensive enough to be a problem. It should, however, work. Let me do a quick save though before everything goes, you know, T-minus end of the world. Oh, that's always great when you find one of those. Like when it's your first moon landing, it's almost like finding pictures of the Apollo mission. Like, it hits so hard. I forgot how quick this small stage is. I find myself doing that out of reminiscing all the time. I don't remember these connectors being that explosive, but hey, as long as it gets them away, that's it works. I'm trying to avoid collecting science on the way up because I have like a million little science things on this. And I want to wait until I have the science lab ready, and, you know, I get some Kerbins up there. I am gonna have to do a crewed mission to do it. Yeah. It's almost like it's attempting to burn itself up in the atmosphere. Oh, some. I have no idea what caused that. Like, I have nothing on this vehicle that should have overheated. But it literally went immediately to maximum overheat. Like, I'm not blind, right? You saw that too. Like, there was a stage and then just everything is disintegrated. Uh, realign with K.I.S.S, set as target, launch into rendezvous, engage autopilot, and let the system just go. And back up so I don't lose my hearing. Well, that's a button I need to check with the space station, because I turned on life support systems, but I don't know what they need, because I might have to also do a supply shuttle. Because I do have the mod that makes, like, colonies and all that a thing. I don't want to put Kerbins up there only to find out that, oh yeah, by the way, they need to eat, like, twice a day or they die. Or, you know, don't get them wet after midnight. You know, your standard stuff. I just realized, Maverick, you might be a little young to get that reference. Again, I still have no idea what overheated, and it's probably going to overheat again, so I have to keep an eye out for it. Because I don't think it's this stage to this stage. I think it's this stage to this stage. 3 to 2, not 4 to 2. Yeah, I think when this goes up, we risk explosion. I might have to bulge out the fairing just to reduce that, but... Let's see... Destruction technical in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stage. That's what it is. Okay. Haha. So we are going to revert to assembly. This may crash the game, but we're going to revert to assembly and fix our staging. So the reason it went immediately to maximum is because right here. That needs to be up. Basically, when it's staged, the engine lock went off and blew the bottom out. So we want to save that. We're going to intentionally come in here and edit the fairing. And just so that's a little bit cleaner, I'm going to come here. Oh. Pull that down. And we're going to put a bigger fairing on it. Make it look pretty. And ta-da! Now it only looks semi-ridiculous. Man, Maverick, I need to get some more people to watch daily. I don't know off the top of my head. I know it's a very specific mod because I accidentally uninstalled that mod at one point and realized how much I missed it. But I don't know off the top of my head. I will put it in the Discord chat afterwards. Just remind me before I get off, and I'll put it in Discord. Actually, I should be able to just give you my mod pack if you want to just run with that. So I do believe I put the mod pack on my Twitch, but I just toss it into Discord and make life easy. So I'll highlight the specific mod, but you know, if you want to just grab the pack and run with it, you can tell me all the things I've messed up. I really do like that. That first stage looks so dramatic when it goes off. The funny thing is, they are like dramatic discharges, and I haven't even put discharge rockets on them. The bigger one got discharge rockets just because they tend to, you know, fold in and explode. But this is not that. Okay, now, in theory, when these blow off, it should still operate perfectly fine. I should also be able to deorbit the main booster. There we go. Nice clean separation. Small semi nuclear style kickoff. This does not have an SAS module, so this may not be able to get to its adjustment. Okay. Whoopsies. That's a big whoopsies. Granted, the one thing that I'm going to do for it is technically not my fault, but I am going to fix it because it just makes life easier. By doing that, this has SAS, but I need to come here and throw SAS on both ends of this. I'll save it, launch it. Because it should have, like, fine control. And I can check that real quick before I even do the launch. But the fact that the SAS does not have the articulatable capabilities, that major flaw on my side. Yep, okay. SAS does engage that, engage rendezvous, and then we'll back up so we don't go death as the rocket launches. So Maverick, what did you think of Friday's Satisfactory stream? Yeah, I'm trying to work out a schedule with my buddy. We might be doing that as a long-term project. So that might turn out to be a reoccurring stream, hopefully. And then when we get to the finish line of Satisfactory, or, you know, to the point where we're just time wasting, then we'll look at maybe doing some of the mods I normally play with it now that I've gone crazy. But I think it'd be really nice to be able to have people dropping in and out of that server, see what's going on. So there might be more visitors to that server. That is going to come down to people's availabilities. You know, it's really funny. The flight recorder is not needed, but I always love turning it on and just going, "Hey, show me this." So weird watching the acceleration drop kick off. Especially when you look at like the altitude versus speed, just they climb so well in sync. While the mass stumbles down. Yeah. Sometimes it's cool looking at the graph and thinking, like, theoretically speaking, this is what somebody in space might see. Like, just a dot screaming up into the heavens. Okay, so the SAS can get it rolled. And because it can roll it, is it going to let it time warp? Yeah, I had to initiate time warp myself, but theoretically speaking, it did work. Target is at a good distance. Let's get our target information up. So, not perfect, but it does get me up here. We're gonna kick our stage over, clear our shroud, switch over to this. Tell this guy to go retro. And we do need probe control. Could get it momentarily. The problem is I don't believe it's going to get it from a relay. I think it's got to get it updated from the actual ground radar site. It does say that we have control. There we go. There we go. That is likely to burn up, but hey, it is what it is. So what we want to do closest intersection, we're going to add a maneuver here. Go into our fine control. Look at the planet. Hey, just because I want to look at the planet doesn't mean I want to hit the planet. I want to go to our maneuver node. Definitely have this in the wrong area. Where am I supposed to? There we go. The ascent node. Now the reason you do this is there. Target the KISS station. Let me apply to the node. Then let me adjust. Bar. Cool, that zeroed it out. And I think we're gonna skip this closest approach and worry about this one. 29. Go, 0.4, bring it in. Oop, too far. Not far enough. Okay. That should be, in theory, a good node to burn at for us to get a good like interaction, we'll say. if you want to laugh, I've been playing this forever, and I noticed interstage nodes, and I have not directly looked at them, or I've been using them without knowing it. And I find that kind of funny. So I'm going to have to do my research on those, because I have been researching a lot of stuff that I have been not realizing I didn't know about KSP. We are 1 minute till closest approach. Have a decent amount of burn left, I believe. Yeah. Target. And we need to just shut down our relative velocity. Let's do a save, because we are likely to mess up at this point. Okay. Closest approach. That, and then we burn towards the target itself. Which you can actually see right there. Okay. Aim for target, and we want to get a little bit closer. Now we're going to be able to kill relative, because at this point, this is basically excess. Okay, we want to tell you to kill rotation, because you are very dangerous. Now we want to switch over to docking. Kill rotation. RCS. And that. Let's check our staging, make sure we are all well and good. Monopropellant is behaving within expected parameters. That's not quite where I want to go. Turn you off. Turn on SAS. That off, and I need to make sure I go out of docking mode. Switch over to this. We need tilt rotation. That. Switch back. Docking mode. RCS. They're getting us to move back nice and gently. And at least for now, I will leave this on. It'll be an emergency fuel tank. Set that as the target. And then we want to control from here. Here. So that we are at least semi-aligned. Roll from here with our docking port set. Now in theory, I could have swore this was supposed to give me a small alignment, but it's fine if it doesn't. Hopefully the docking is not too rough on the thing. Look at all these planets that I cannot currently go to. Yes. And she is joined. Okay, what is eating my electric charge? Okay, since you were attempting to eat up all my charge, this part, command, hibernation. This one up here. Nice, carefully. Hibernation. And now we are now doing okay. And now I need to get 2 Kerbals up here, but let me check life support status. Interesting, it does not say anything specific. So I will have to put Kerbals up there. But we're going to launch our next module. This one's going to be a doozy. this particular module that I'm looking to launch, I just accidentally hit fly on a piece of debris. Yay! Not even a piece of debris, it's a piece of the launch platform that they're apparently giving me life support for. Yeah, let's recover that one piece of equipment. Maverick, imagine what would happen if they did like KSP, but they did it like Satisfactory. That would be a level of insanity that I don't know if I would know what to do with. I don't even know if you'd be able to consider it a Star Wars game, because, like, imagine having to build the vehicle assembly building by gathering resources. No, technically, anything that has to do with science and unrealistic science is sci-fi. So, by the very nature of being KSP, it is sci-fi. Target. Fuel is on. World first milestone. You have first station around from document. Cool. Nice to know that is what paid for this monstrosity that I am going to attempt to put up there. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea if I can get this into orbit. It did not work every single time I tried to put this thing in orbit. Oh yeah, it did this. Gauge. Time warp. Ooh, this is scary. This is the kind of thing that will kill MechJeb. MechJeb really, really doesn't like this. This payload scares me. I'm gonna be honest, the fact that it hasn't exploded yet has me dumbfounded. When you see what this is, you're gonna sit there and go, how on earth did he get that into orbit? And of course it wants to do, like, the flattest line in order to get there. I might have to, if something happens, redesign the orbital profile, or the launch profile for this, because this is an angry monster. That's honestly what it is, and I just realized that I have to move this stage up, or it will explode. The Maverick, can you guess what's hidden in this payload? uh... There we go. Well, I guess I will give you a hint. What does a space station tend to use a lot of? Okay, true, I'll give you that. Not construction of, but active use of a space station. What would you use a lot of on a regular daily basis for a space station? It scares me that it's doing 2 times time warp. You can tell by fishing. Okay. So, the correct answer, which again, you keep giving very correct answers, so I can't fault you on that, is electrical charge. This thing has a tiny battery bank of almost 7,000 electric charge. It's also about as unstable as most of the people I knew in high school. Oh, that's bad. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. Revert the launch. Yeah. Basically, it exploded, as you saw, and generated hundreds of physics objects. So, I need to be careful with that one. Let me turn the fuel on, and what I'm gonna do is do the very smart thing of doing a quick save after the fuel's been loaded. Okay, quick save. But yeah, that generated physics parts like nobody's business. Autopilot. Okay. I think it's gonna physics warp it all the way around. Which is fine, because it gives us a nice day launch. Quick save again. Wait until we hit 5 seconds this time instead of 3, because apparently 3 seconds was not enough time for the engines to warm up. Hey, still not enough. But then again, game also lagged, so... Like, it's got more than enough fuel. Like, I think once this thing gets into orbit, it's got a total of almost 7K Delta V. Like, I could put this on Duna with... I'm not going to say without much issue, because the payload, specifically, does not like me. But, theoretically speaking, if the payload behaved, I could put it on Duna. With a powered landing. Oh yeah, the engines I'm using are yeah, quite powerful. Plus, I'm pretty sure I had them upgraded to a decent degree. Okay. Alright, Maverick. I will see you tomorrow. In theory, tomorrow might even be another Satisfactory. We will see if I can get Demonic in on another stream. But, if you've got a second, I would love to show you what's hidden underneath this fairing without it exploding. Gonna pretend we don't see it wobbling like crazy and hope that it switches over to a static time warp quickly. Okay, good. Well, it's getting there. Just being very bouncy about it. Yeah, this is my least favorite payload. The payload that tries to explode at all times and all places. Actually, lock that before we go here and deploy. That's insane. We can change that there. Go burp. If I'm not mistaken, this big guy has no control. I tell you to gently aim retrograde because you do. You're gonna wobble like sin. Come on. I know you're trying to move with the force of a billion suns, apparently. But we do need you to be a little bit more proactive. Okay. Now we tell you, try to go retrograde. Now, here's where the whole thing kind of risks falling apart. If I come here, I tell you, go from here, control forward. Reversed. I think that will allow me to get this safely. Back in a circularized orbit. I'm gonna leave that behind, and worst case scenario, I will be picking it up later. Okay. And we need to come here, add maneuver. Give me maneuver gradient understanding. Oop, we went too far. Okay, that is zeroed out. Set that to the target. do need to be very careful. Let you go here so I can. Okay. To the orbit. Switch to the control node. Okay, 95. If I increase you to a large extent, it's gonna give me a secondary control. There we go. That's the node I'm looking for. Five, 6, 5, 6, 4, 4, 2, 3, 3. Okay, I still have time for the maneuver. 3, 3. You know what? That is fine. Execute the node burn. Hopefully, the command structure remembers where it's supposed to be burning, so we don't do opposite burns. It behaves so much better when it's actually already in orbit. Boom. Okay. We want to warp there, target. And then we need to make sure that our relative velocity is much more controlled. Warp a little bit closer. There is our station. Cut off. But we are doing a little bit better. Go to a relative velocity kill. 3, 2, burn. I did overshoot. I did overshoot by quite a dramatic amount, but in theory, docking mode. I'll have to kill the rotation. Kill the rotation. Turn on the RCS, the SA. Okay. Now, in 7 minutes, we'll get quite a bit closer. Now, I don't know why I'm going down, but set that as the target. Pull from here. Kill rotation. Off. Nominal down. Do it without RCS, because you are getting wobbly. And I don't get why. You have no reason to be losing your stability all of a sudden. At least in theory. You have to be a little careful. Aim camera there. I forgot. I have to extend this ring. Carefully switch over here. Extend this ring. Switch back. Aim the camera at this. Come on. Come on. You can do it. Doors, yes. Ooh. I know these are supposed to... Hmm. Come on. I know you wanna. Did I have this on backwards? Oh. No, that just crashed it. Well, that's a problem. It's a major problem. Because at least potentially that means that we will not get the game up and running in time, but we will find out. However, we do have 17 minutes to reacquire our thing, but we will find out and go from there. Worst case scenario, this might be something I complete at a later date simply because payload does not like behaving. But I will be AFK for a moment while I let this attempt to reload. Okay, hopefully this loads up. Get the feeling that this may be one of those times where I'm bit off more than I can chew with the attempt. Let me cover up for a second. There we go. Station, let's see how bad this is. I believe I did save while... Base station power, jump to it. Let's see where I saved last. You know, it does irk me a little bit that the whole thing... I'm surprised this works. Ow. Okay. Stop doing that. That's really irritating. Command control from here then. If that's what I gotta do to maintain stability. That is what I will do. Oh. Switch to docking mode. Come here. And hold on. Extend the ring. Come here, pause for a second. Okay, sorry about that. We need to fix our camera angle. Make things a little easy. Okay, let's see if this... because I'd very much like it to connect. Status, it's locked. Okay, let's see if we can do this right, because it does not seem to want to behave. One, nice and careful. Okay, come on. You should have enough force to dock. You do that. And then do this. Come on. Here. Ooh, no. Ooh, no. Control from here. Bring that up. And, of course, kill my rotation. Nominal plus. Rotation, kill. Switch over. Are you guys gonna behave now? Come on. Come on. Come on. No rotation. Why are you... Okay. This. That. And theory. Nope, don't control from there because that's how everything explodes. We want control from here. We want a camera view. Why are you... Okay, so you guys are extended. You're just not behaving? Is that what I'm getting out of you? I don't get it. Like, why does this not want to connect? There, because that's what you're supposed to do. You want to aim the camera at this. And then... I don't know why it's misbehaving and misaligning. Even though it's very dangerous to quick save this close together. Retract the ring. And then we're going to go to the other side and retract the ring. And come over here and aim our camera there. Okay, why won't you? Come on. There we go. Come on, you can do it. Like, at this point, there's no reason not to work. I can't get it. It should have. Okay, so I literally have to force it. But now that it's together, we only have a couple minutes. Let's tell you to stop. That hit 1. Hit 2. Okay, you don't want to behave, so I want to. Hello? Why are you not behaving? Because got to disable this. Okay, I need to solar unfold stop 0. Okay. Open the editor. I have to be very, very gentle with this. Play. And then do that. And in theory, it should try and come back. I have to disconnect that. Ooh. These are very angry parts. I guess I should have thought about disconnecting these struts automatically. Come on, let me gently. Okay. Warp. Hit 1. Now in theory, by hitting 1, that is not the sequence I'm worried about. This is the sequence I'm worried about. Hit on. This scares me. This scares me quite dramatically. Open scene. Are you gonna let me? No, I want you to go that. Go the other way. Thank you. Man, that is heavily unstable. Okay. I'm gonna tell this to face radical. Perfect. But this should get our batteries nice and happy. Granted, this whole station's gonna want to explode at any given point in time because everything on it is very, very flimsy. Don't I don't know if this is gonna help. Not perfect, but it's up there. And it does have a scientific module. Ooh, and it now has RCS on both ends. Undock that. We're gonna hit save. We're gonna switch to the other module that's here. Now, if I'm not mistaken, it is just a decoupler. So we're gonna go smart. We want you to go retrograde. Boom, boom. Switch over to non-docking mode. Retrograde. And self-deorbit. Now there is a bunch of science I can do. Question is it going to let me? That is the multi-million-dollar question. We can turn those stuff off. I really wish there was just a, hey, stabilize my station thing. Cool. Hypothetically, if I just come down here and I click on this, that doesn't get anything. Hit that, collect all of it. I believe that is it for the night. We now have our station up. It has the ability to gather power. It has the ability to live throughout the night. Let's get to the Space Center before the station decides to detonate. Because, like I said, those solar panels are not friendly. They're cool, they're automated, but they are not friendly. Alright, everyone. While we did start a little late, we are past our time, so I guess today we will call it a night, and I will see you all next time. This is going to be Wednesday. We might even build a space plane, who knows, or just normal plane. We'll find out. Alright, everyone. Have a good night, and take it easy.